सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। We are seeing the nature of jīvanmukta. Sah jīvanmuktah iṣyate, sah jīvanmuktalakṣaṇaḥ, jīvanmuktasya lakṣanam. Like that, the verses have been ending with. So we saw Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is doing an impossible task of explaining what cannot be explained. These are just some of the pointers of how Jīvanmukta, who is beyond the world, might appear in the world. For all of us Ajnanis, how he or she might appear, that is what is being explained, right? Actually speaking, the state of that Jnani or Jīvanmukta is beyond all comparisons, beyond all explanations, and therefore Shankaracharya is not trying to do that. What he is trying to do is how we can imbibe some of the things from that Jīvanmukta. What becomes easy, natural way of living for Jīvanmukta can become an intense, thoughtful sadhana for us. For that purpose, he is explaining some of the points. We have been seeing, now we have to go forward. We are in verse number 439. Am I right? Let us chant. dehendriyeṣvahaṃbhāva idaṃbhāvastadanyake yasya no bhavataḥ kvāpi sajīvanmukta iṣyate dehendriyeṣvahaṃbhāva idaṃbhāvastadanyake yasya no bhavataḥ kvāpi sajīvanmukta iṣyate. Two verses before this, Shankaracharya was explaining dehendriyadau kartavye mama ahambhava varjitah. One who has got no feeling of I and my in the body, senses, not even in one's duties. So there is no kartavya for that jīvanmukta, and since that jīvanmukta is not feeling that the body is him or his, he doesn't feel any kind of identification and associated sorrow because of that identification. This is what he said earlier. Now, what is he saying here? Dehendriyeṣvahaṃbhāva. The feeling of I in body, senses, etc., in deha, indriya, etc., in the body, mind, intellect, in the upadhis, the feeling of I. Dehendriyeṣvahaṃbhāva. idaṃbhāvastadanyake. And in everything other than it, idaṃbhāvah, the feeling of this. What, Veji? Are we going back? No, what is he saying? The feeling of I in body, mind, intellect, and feeling of this in everything other than it. Everything other than it means in the rest of the world, the feeling of this. But this is what I have. Am I jīvanmukta? No. Because I have this dehendriyeṣvahaṃbhāva and also idaṃbhāvastadanyake. Yasya no bhavatāḥ kvāpi. One who does not have this. Bhavataḥ, dual. Bhavati, bhavataḥ, bhavanti. So both these things for whom are not there, na-u, not at all there, yasya, for whom, na-u bhavataḥ, both these do not exist at all, kvāpi, in any case, saha jīvanmukta iṣyate. Such a person is called as jīvanmukta. Now he is differentiating. You see, that's why I said that this is not the actual state of jīvanmukta. Comparatively, he is differentiating so that we can make a guess at what that state can be. We have the feeling of I in the body and feeling of this in the world, whereas actually the body is part of the world. So there should be feeling of this in the body itself. Isn't it? Body is part of the world. It is going to remain in this world also. Mind is part of the world. Senses are part of the world. But suddenly we create a kind of kavach, a kind of covering over this. What? This is me. And outside this is not me, it is this. Isn't it? Why? Because of identification. Now the jīvanmukta doesn't have that. There is no feeling of I in the body, mind, senses, etc. There is no feeling of this in the world. In other way, there is no differentiation. There is no feeling of difference, that this is me and this is not me. That kind of distinction is gone. Sometimes, to explain this, analogy of dream is given. We have already seen so many times the example of dream, where in the dream, the mind designs everything, creates everything, but even after creating everything, we are only identified with one body in the dream, and therefore we do enjoy and suffer according to how the dream is proceeding. Isn't it? If a good dream is happening, we are enjoying. If it is a bad dream, nightmare, then we are suffering. Ideally, we cannot enjoy or suffer because everything in the dream is me. But in its own time, we don't have such experience of dream. Correct? We feel that we are different. So that difference is created. So the example that is given to explain such points of jīvanmukta is, imagine if you are in the dream, but you know it is a dream. What will happen? Imagine if you are in the dream, but you know this is a dream. Then how it will be? Now imagine. No veggie, if I know, then I will not enjoy. Good only. That's the whole point. Not to enjoy, not to suffer. That's the whole point. How will it be then the dream? The dream might continue. Because again, dream is also because of prarabdha. The dream might continue. But if you know this is dream, then suddenly you will be totally away from it. Isn't it? Same dream let us take, which we have taken so many times, that the tiger is chasing you. Veji, why do you like that dream so much? No, it explains many points. That is why I have never had that dream. I wish I have that dream once at least. I can confidently tell about this dream then. Suppose you are there, the tiger is there and tiger is chasing you and you are running. And suppose you know this is a dream. Then what will happen? Then you are not running. You are not even the tiger. You are everything. You are also the person who is running. You are also the tiger and also the road on which you are running. And suppose you know this. Then what will happen? Then that anxiety, the tiger may eat me and I may die. That anxiety will not be there. Rather, you will not see tiger as something different from you. No, Viji, but what will happen to the body? Nothing will happen to the body. No, but the tiger will eat. It is a dream. Relax. We are taking it too seriously because we think it is real. In the same way, imagine the state of a jnani. What? In this world, while living in this world, he doesn't feel that he is different from the world. He understands that everything is self. Imagine what will be that state. In Manisha Panchakam, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, prarabdhaya samarpitam sovapuhu. He surrenders his body to prarabdha. Why? Because he knows he is not the body. He understands that total self doesn't care about the body no anymore. Prarabdhaya samarpitam sovapuhu. That is the state of a jīvanmukta. Imagine you are in a dream, but you know it is a dream. How wonderful it will be. Sometimes it might have happened with you. Sometimes when we are going back and forth from waking and dream, sometimes we wake up, we know we just saw a dream and what was the dream, and we fall back into the sleep and the dream continues and you see that you are seeing a dream. Sometimes it happens. By chance it happens sometimes. Isn't it a wonderful feeling? You know you are suffering in the dream, but you know you are not suffering. You know something is happening, but you know it is a dream. Imagine that by fluke what situation has come. Imagine that remains throughout, even in the waking. That is the state of a jīvanmukta. Okay. So both dehendriya, etc., we have feeling that this is me, jiva is there. Other than me, this is the world. But what is the self-knowledge that we have got? That the reality of an individual is the self. Substratum of the world is Brahman. And self and Brahman are one. There is no distinction. Now this, what we have understood as an intellectual knowledge, is that jīvanmukta's experience. And therefore, the oneness between the self and Brahman is so strong that the distinction of individual and world is totally gone. Is totally gone. Okay. Now this is what it is. Now this point he further explains in the next verse. Let us see. Verse number 440. Na pratyagbrahmaṇorbhedaṃ kadāpi brahmasargayoḥ prajñayā yo vijānati sa jīvanmuktalakṣaṇaḥ. Na pratyagbrahmaṇorbhedaṃ kadāpi brahmasargayoḥ prajñayā yo vijānati sa jīvanmuktalakṣaṇaḥ. pratyagbrahmaṇoḥ bhedam na. Pratyak, inner self, the individuality. Jiva also you can say. Brahmaṇoḥ bhedam na. There is no difference between me and Brahman. Kadāpi, and absolutely there is no bheda, no difference. Brahmasargayoḥ, between the Brahman and Sarga. Sarga is world. Means what? I am not the Jiva, I am the Brahman who is the witness consciousness of the Jiva. I am not seeing the world. Why? Because world is not world. World is also Brahman, which is its substratum. Na kadāpi bhedam vijānati. One who does not see or know any such kind of difference between the individual and Brahman or between the world and Brahman. How? Yah prajñayā vijānati. One who knows that by prajñā. Prajñā here means knowledge, K capital. Self-knowledge. Intuitively he knows. Not that it is a thought-based knowledge. Don't say, yah prajñayā vijānati means he knows by some knowledge. No. This is consciousness we are talking about. Why? Because he has passed all the stages now. That Brahmakara vritti maintained for a long time, became Brahmakara vasana, then that thought also disappeared, nirvikalpa samadhi. All those stages are done. So here again prajña is not a thought-based knowledge. He intuitively knows that Brahman alone is. Sah jīvanmuktalakṣaṇaḥ. He is having the characteristics of a liberated person. Sah jīvanmuktalakṣaṇaḥ. So, both kinds of differences he does not see. Inside also no differences. No differences means he doesn't feel that I am different from Brahman. Nor does he feel that the world is different from Brahman. Means what? Brahman alone is. These both are very important aspects. Sometimes we study Vedanta and we feel that I am Brahman. What about the other world? I don't know. Mad people only. Everywhere. All around the world only mad people are there. They are so ignorant. They make me ignorant also. Actually, I became ignorant because of these people. Arre, if that is the understanding, that you have not understood Vedanta, why? Vedanta doesn't just tell that you are that Brahman, but other people are not Brahman. No. Brahman alone is. So that is the kind of knowledge we are talking about. In some pathas, there is another verse for this, instead of this actually. Na pratyagbrahmaṇorbhedaṃ. Instead of this, there is a verse, jīvesho bhaya samsara rupa durvasanojjita sa sarvada bhavedyasya sa jīvanmukta iṣyate. There is a different verse. Okay. What is it saying? It says, Jiva isha ubhaya samsara rupa durvasana ujjita. Okay, durvasana. Bad vasana of seeing the three things. Jiva, Isha, Samsara. Individual, Lord, and the world. These are the three topics also, no? Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Right? In these three topics, everything is covered. Now, one for whom these kind of concepts created by Durvasana. Durvasana means bad impressions. Ujjita is given up. These kind of concepts are given up. Sarvada bhavedyasya. Okay, and always it is given up, not taken back again. Saha jīvanmukta iṣyate. He is called as jīvanmukta. Same concept explained in a different way. Okay. Now what? Now he continues, beautiful verse, next verse, 441. Sādhubhiḥ pūjyamāne'smin. pīḍyamāne'pi durjanaiḥ. samabhāvo bhavedyasya. jīvanmuktalakṣaṇaḥ. Sādhubhiḥ pūjyamāne'smin. pīḍyamāne'pi durjanaiḥ. samabhāvo bhavedyasya. jīvanmuktalakṣaṇaḥ. What is he saying? Asmin, in this body, pūjyamāne, which is worshipped, sādhubhiḥ, by noble people. So when this upadhi is worshipped, Sati Saptami Prayog also you can say, asmin pūjyamāne sati, when this body is worshipped, sādhubhiḥ, by noble people, api, or, and also, durjanaiḥ pīḍyamāne, when the same body is troubled or tortured by durjanas, by wicked people, yasya samabhāvah bhavet, one who remains equanimous, saha jīvanmuktalakṣaṇaḥ, he is of the characteristics, he is having the characteristics of a liberated person. What is this? See, jīvanmukta may be jīvanmukta, but the world is world. And the people of the world are still people of the world. When we, living in this world, have not spared Sakshat Sri Ram, who was the most ideal person that can ever be, avatar of Bhagavan, Vishnu, who lived the perfect life, even him we have not spared. Even in his life, we keep on finding faults. We keep on having doubts about why did Bhagavan Sri Rama do like this and how can he do like this and this is very bad, and we write thesis and books and create movies on that. How Ravana was better. I don't know how many of you have read all these kind of interpretations. That Ravana was so great that once he took Sita ji, he died, but he did not give up Sita ji. And what is Sri Ram? He could not even protect his own wife. Stupidity at its highest level, this. But it is a fact that many people criticize, find faults with Bhagavan Sri Rama's life. Sri Krishna's life, you can still understand. Why? Because he lived that kind of tricky life. He wanted to live that kind of tricky life. He wanted people to talk bad about him. That's how he lived. So you can still say that, okay, fine. Everybody doesn't understand how he always followed the path of dharma and did not twist it. Very rare such people are there. You can understand. But even with Sri Rama's life, people who found fault, you think they will spare jnanis? Not possible. So when jnani lives in the world, he is still looked at by the people, and not everybody understands that he is a jnani. Not everybody knows what is a jnani, and surely not everybody understands what are the actions of a jnani. Even people who study Vedanta, like all of us, can misunderstand the actions of a jnani. And therefore what will happen? There will be people who will worship the upadhis of the jīvanmukta, and there will be people who will trouble that jīvanmukta. We have seen so many such stories. I am sure in all our childhood stories or the stories from all the regional places of India, we all must have listened about so many such Mahatmas who were troubled by people. Isn't it? I'm from Maharashtra, so I have heard stories of those saints and Mahatmas from that land. We hear the story of Gajanan Maharaj, who was a recent Mahatma, couple of 100 years back. And we hear how there were people who used to literally beat him. Why? Because he was a Avadhuta Mahatma, not worry about anything else. And they used to beat him with this sugar cane. He did not even care. People kept on beating and he was not even responding or reacting. Why? He doesn't have that body identification. Then suddenly those people, after beating, they got tired. 4 or 5 of them strong. They could not see. Then the same fellow stopped all other people. He said, no, I think there is something wrong. And the same people went and brought food for him and gave and said sorry. He didn't care. He ate whatever came in front of him. We have listened to all these stories, isn't it? There will be people who will worship that jīvanmukta and say that he is Sakshat Avatar. And there will be people who will say that he is nothing but a rogue. He is nothing but he is acting as jnani, he is not actually jnani, and come and trouble him mentally, physically, put obstacles in the path that whatever good work he is doing. There will always be such people. What is his nature towards it? Samabhāvo bhavedyasya. Whenever I explain this point, I always remember the story that Swami Advayananda used to tell us. Actually, I have told that story many times. I am sure, I don't remember now whether in Vivekachoodamani class I have told. The story of Parva Swami. Some of you are moving your head, means you have heard. That story actually I heard from Swamiji during the explanation of these 2 verses. I remember when I studied. This is a true story. There was one Mahatma in Tamil Nadu near Rameshwaram. He used to stay, and his ashram is there in Rameshwaram. He never used to stay at one place. He used to just roam around. He had come somewhere from north. He didn't know the language of South India at all, Tamil, etc. He didn't know at all. And Mahatmas, we know how they are, no? For no reason or planning, they are just going. Earlier also Shankaracharya had explained, Vasantavat lokahitam charantaha. They are just roaming about, for the benefit of all. And he came across this place in Tamil Nadu. And what happened? As he was going, he picked up one word from Tamil. That is Parvaila. Parvaila means no problem, don't worry. That kind of meaning is there. Parvaila. Okay. It's okay. That kind of word. He just picked up. Now, whenever people used to come and talk to him, he will just say this one word, Parvaila. He doesn't know what they are talking about. Never used to understand also the language. He will say Parvaila. And Tamil Nadu, even today, if you go there, they won't speak in any other language, though they know. They won't. So much of pride is there for Tamil. Hindi they know exactly, but they will not speak. Imagine we are talking about few years back also, few decades back. So there also they used to come to him and talk in Tamil. He never used to understand, he used to say Parvaila. So what happened? He was in one village, and that village main person, Mukhya, the main person of that village, had some problem with his family, etc. And he was trying to find solution, and suddenly he saw him. That Mahatma was sitting, because under some shade he was sitting outside, it was raining. So he was sitting there. So this person who was there kept on talking to this Mahatma. And because he was talking, Mahatma was looking at his face, because somebody is talking, not understanding anything, but he was looking. And in between, whenever that person will take pause, he will say parvailla. And this person, after speaking, felt so relieved, and he thought this parvailla is a great, solution that the Mahatma has given. So he started worshipping this Mahatma. And he told everybody, because he was the main in charge of the village, he told everybody that, this is a great Mahatma. So what we should do, you should support him. Okay, he doesn't have any home, he is just roaming here and there. So Monday you will bring food for him, Tuesday you will bring, Thursday you will bring, every day different people, morning different person, afternoon different person. Then for him they built a house, a small kuti kind of thing. And that Mahatma was staying, and they used to get food for him. He was not understanding anything even now, that what happened, why are they come. Food used to come, when there is food he will eat, when there is no food he will not eat. And then what used to happen is, these people who will bring the food, they will tell their problems. Swamiji, I am telling in English because I don't know Tamil, but they used to tell in Tamil. And then he will listen to everything and he will say parvailla. And they used to feel, yes, that is the solution. And went away. Everybody used to come there and go back happy, saying that, this Mahatma is great. Now everybody started to feel that this Mahatma is great. They started worshipping. One day what happened? This Mukhya, the main person in the village, his daughter, had some kind of affair with some other boy of some other village. And they were rivals, the villagers were rivals. She became pregnant before marriage. And she could not tell that this is because of that boy, otherwise they will kill her also and him also. So in that fearful moment, when they were asking her who is responsible, she took name of this Swami. They used to call him Parvailla Swami. So she took his name. Now the people became so angry. Why? We are giving him food. We made him come here and we created house for him. And this is what he does? Absolutely unethical, unrighteous. So the same people went there, took this Swami, threw him outside, brought down the entire house and kept on beating. The Swami is still not understanding what is happening. And they told this girl also, go now. Go with him, stay outside the village, don't even come inside the village. She was pregnant. She took it as her punishment. So outside the village, she created a small kind of hut. And this Swami was staying there. She also was staying there. She used to cook food. Whatever little she will get, she used to give him. He was not understanding anything even now. He was bruised everywhere, not able to walk. And whatever she will give, he will eat. Now when this girl did so much of seva for this Swami, her mind became purified. And one day, she called everyone. And she said, I lied. Actually, he is not responsible. He doesn't even know who am I. He doesn't know who I am and what is happening. It was actually this other boy, etc., etc. She explained the whole story. Now these people felt so bad that, such a Mahatma who solved all our problems, you see how we behaved with him? Then again they took him to hospital, treated him well, built the house again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every day, bhikshas, etc. were arranged. Again that person. And that Swami still did not know what is happening. It is not just because of the language that he did not understand. It because of that knowledge of Brahman that he did not make any kind of distinction. Siddhasya lakshanani, sadhakasya sadhanani. If the people of the world have not spared Bhagavan Sri Rama, If the people of the world will not spare, do not spare jnanis, where are we? Where are you and me? Do you think all people will praise us? No, they will not. Never they will do that. Just as there will be people who will respect you and praise you, there will be people who will criticize you and will think that you are useless fellow. There will be people, both kinds. We can't make everybody happy, and that's not our job anyways. What we have to do, samabhāvah. We should not hate the people who disrespect us and give more importance to the people who like us or who respect us. Samabhāvah, that is what we need to maintain. This is tough. This is extremely tough. Why? Because we have a tendency. Whoever is nice to us, we are nice to them. Whoever is wicked, we are wicked. And we say this proudly also. This is not the time to be proud of all such things. This is time to understand that these are all small, petty things. Why? People will always be like this. It is the nature of the world. They will keep saying things about you. They will keep criticizing. And the most interesting thing is, they will never tell you where is the mistake, how to solve. Why? Their only job is to find faults, find mistakes. Keep it to themselves and then criticize, keep on blaming, keep on nagging, taunting. That is what they will do. We should not get affected by all these things. And interestingly, in our own life, we will see people changing the sides also. Earlier, the people who respected us will become people who will disrespect us. People who disrespected us before, did not think good about us, now are fans of you. You will see this change happening. Smile away. Gurudev used to always say, smile away. Why? Because that's it. That's the only thing that we can do. Never become somebody like this and never get affected by people like this. That is what we have to become. Parvaile. There is no problem. Everything is fine. Okay? So that we should always remember. Samabhāvah bhavet. How samabhāva remains? Next verse explains that. The idea is quite famous. Verse is new. Let us see. Verse 442. Yatra praviṣṭā viṣayāḥ pareritā. nadīpravāhā iva vārirāśau. linanti sanmātratayā vikriyāṃ. utpādayantyēṣayatirvimuktah. yatra praviṣṭā viṣayāḥ pareritā. nadīpravāhā iva vārirāśau. linanti sanmātratayā vikriyāṃ. utpādayantyēṣayatirvimuktah. Yatra, where pareritāha viṣayāha praviṣṭāha. Praviṣṭāha, entered. What has entered? Viṣayāha praviṣṭāha. Viṣayāha, the objects have entered. What objects? The objects of enjoyment. Where the objects that have entered, pareritāha, pareritāha, propelled by others. First understand the meaning of each word, then we will go into the depth. Yatra, where praviṣṭā, those which have entered, viṣayāḥ, the objects of enjoyment, pareritā, propelled by others, linanti sanmātratayā, they just merge as one existence. Na vikriyam utpādayanti, and do not create any kind of action or modification. Vikriyam na utpādayanti. Eṣah yatihi vimuktaha. Such a person, such a sannyasi, such a jnani is vimukta, is a liberated person. What is happening? What is he saying? In whose mind, when the objects of enjoyment enter, because they are propelled by somebody else, the mind does not go up when the objects are nice and favorable, or the mind does not go down when they are not favorable. Actually, the objects become existence. Sanmātratayā linanti. Veji, still not clear. In our life, when we are living, we, because of our desires, come across objects. Rather, we put efforts to experience the objects. Today I want to eat pizza, and after that ice cream. Veji, actually speaking, we never have such desires unless we come to your class and you tell us. All other times I am not even thinking about it, and now you are... I am giving example of pizza and ice cream. We will each one of us will have some other desire. If not for this object, then for that object. I want this mobile, that TV. I want to go here for vacation. Because of our desires, we create around us an environment where we have objects, people and situations which give us joy. We try to create. And then when in the same environment there are objects or people or situations which we don't like, we want to get out of that situation. We can't survive in that situation. We feel, where am I caught up in this whole thing? Suddenly we remember that we are in bondage and we need to get out. Why? Because the objects around us, the people around us, the situations that we are in are non-favorable. So we, because of our desires, get objects and become happy or unhappy depending on whether the objects, people and situations are good or bad for me, favorable or not for me. Jīvanmukta's state is something which is very different. Why? He doesn't have desires to go behind any objects, number one. But still there are objects which come in his life. How? Pareritā, propelled by others. Why? The person who is cooking for this Jīvanmukta thinks that today I should give pizza to Swamiji. Not that Swamiji wants. But that person who is doing seva thinks that let us do something. Pareritā, most of the time that is what happens. But even such objects, when propelled by others, reach this Jīvanmukta. It is not that the Jīvanmukta's mind goes up and down according to the object like you and me. It just turns the entire table. The objects become one with the existence. The objects which are capable of giving different experiences merge in that one existence. No more there are favorable objects or non-favorable objects. No more there are likes and dislikes. Nothing is there. To explain this, Shankaracharya has quoted the example given by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Nadīpravāhā iva vārirāśau. Vari, water. Rashi, collection. Vārirāśau, collection of water, ocean. vārirāśau, saptami vibhakti, in the ocean, nadīpravāhā iva. Nadīpravāhā, pravaha, plural. Like the streams of river in the ocean. Now do you understand the example that Shankaracharya is talking about? In the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, when Bhagavan Shri Krishna is explaining about the state of that Jīvanmukta and answering Arjuna's questions about Sthita Prajña, he uses this example, āpūryamānam achala pratistham samudramāpah praviṣanti yadvat tadvat kāmāha yam praviṣanti sarve sashanti māpnoti na kāmakāmi. Same example, same point. That the desires or the objects of desires enter into him, not propelled by his desires but propelled by others, but they do not create any kind of disturbance in his mind, any vikriya action in the mind, any modification in the mind. On the contrary, the objects become one with that existence. Like what? Like the rivers taking galleons of water enter into the ocean. In the monsoon, the rivers are flooded. So much of water comes into ocean. In the summer, rivers are trickling water into the ocean, and because of the strong sun, so much of water is getting evaporated. But the ocean remains at the same level. Just because so many flooding rivers are entering, the ocean doesn't rise. And just because so much of water is getting evaporated, the ocean water doesn't go down, the ocean level doesn't go down. Those who stay at the seashore will know this point. Very well they will know this point. Why? There is a boundary to the ocean, and ocean always remains in that boundary. Because of the high tide, low tide, that boundary changes by few meters. But it never happens that because of monsoon and because of too much rain, just as rivers are flooded, ocean is flooded. Never it happens. Go around Kerala and see all the houses which are there on that backwater. They correctly know what is the level ocean rises. But those people who are staying on the banks of the river can never do that. Why? Because river water comes and goes up and down according to the monsoon, according to the rains. With ocean, that doesn't happen. Veji, why? Because of the depth of the ocean. The ocean is so deep, so rooted, that it never goes up and down. Jīvanmukta is so deeply rooted in the knowledge of Brahman that the desires or the objects of desires coming and going create no action in him, create no disturbance, no modification in him. Sanmātratayā linanti na vikriyām utpādayanti. They do not create any kind of modification. This is how that Jīvanmukta is. He remains undisturbed, unmoved by whatever objects are entering or not entering. Remember pareritā. This is the most important word. Propelled by others, the objects are coming. It is not that the jnani or Jīvanmukta want this or that. When those objects come, he remains same. You must have noticed Bhagavan Shankaracharya has changed the meter. Why? Because the topic is concluding. Within the Jīvanmukta topic, earlier we had said, verse number 427, I think, where Sthita Prajña, Sadanandam Ashnute, Brahmanyeva Vilinatma, Nirvikaro, Vinishkriyaha, 5 topics he took. He explained who is a Sthita Prajña. Then he explained how that jnani experiences Sadanandam, that ever eternal bliss. Then he explained how he is Lina in Brahman, he is merging in Brahman. Then from 431 to 442, the verse that we just now saw, he explained the concept of nirvikara and therefore vinishkriya. Vinishkriya means no action. Now, because nirvikara, because he is not having any modification, therefore no action. So he started the topic with that and ending here also with navikriyam utpadayanti. That because he is of such nature, therefore he is vinishkriya also. So 5 main lakshanas of jīvanmukta are explained by Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji here in this section. Okay. Now he starts the next topic. And what is that? Karma nasha for a jīvanmukta. How that jīvanmukta is free from karma. But Vedji vinishkriya, he doesn't perform any action. Yes. Here karma has got a different meaning. What is it? We'll see. So starting from next verse 443, and the topic will go on up to 464. The topic of how there are no karmas for jīvanmukta. Now today we will not be starting a new verse. Let us understand this concept of karma. Karma, the word can be derived in 2 ways. Can be derived in many ways, but here we are going to see 2 ways. Kriyate iti karma. That which is performed is called as karma. So that way an action is called as karma. We say also in our common parlance, I am doing this karma. To many of the particular actions, we add the word karma also. Jata karma, shraddha karma, puja karma. Karma means action. One meaning. Another meaning of karma is karayati iti karma. That which makes us do things or actions is called as karma. And what is it that makes us do? It is the result of our past actions that causes me to perform new actions. So karma phala, the result of action, is also called as karma. In Vedanta, whenever the word karma comes, it will either come in the meaning of action or in the meaning of result of action. Karma, kriya or karma phala. These are not new concepts. You know this already. I am just putting it in proper words. So when it comes, karma means kriya, we have seen the classification earlier. Nitya karma, naimittika karma, kamya karma, prayaṣṭa karma, nishiddha karma. Remember? Long back we had seen. When? That time when the topic of, what topic was there? Right at the beginning, pravritti, nivritti, those 2 topics were there. Remember? It is dharma marga parata. That was the topic. Vaidika dharma marga parata. And we said that Vaidika dharma marga is of 2-fold. Pravritti marga and nivritti marga. And there we discussed this topic. Long back. In first 30-40 verses. So, nitya karma, daily duties, naimittika karma, occasional duties, prayaṣṭa karma, expiatory rites, kamya karma, desire prompted action, prohibited karma, nishiddha karma, prohibited actions. This is when we are performing the action, this is the classification. Now in the second meaning of karma, where karma is result of action, that karma is classified into 3. Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma and agami karma. You might have heard these terms before. If not any other, prarabdha is something that you all surely have heard. This is where it comes. Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma and agami karma. 3 types of karma. Here we are now, so from now onwards, whenever we are referring to karma, we are talking about karma phala, okay? Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma. Sometimes they will just say Sanchita, Prarabdha, Agami. It is to be understood that this is karma phala they are talking about. Now, what is this sanchita prarabdha agami? Sanchita, samyak chitam. Sam plus chit. Chita. Together becomes sanchita. Sam, samyak. Chitam, collected. Well collected. That is the meaning of word sanchita. Prarabdha. Pra plus arabdha. Pra means well, prakarshena. Arabdham means that which has already begun. That which has already started. That is called as prarabdha. The word I am talking about. Third is agami. Agami means that which will come in future. Agami. वो जो आएगा, आने वाला है, आगामी. That which will come in future. So, sanchita, prarabdha, agami. Word meanings are clear. Well collected, well begun, future. Now, whenever we perform any action, it creates a result called punya or papa. Correct? We have seen this topic earlier. If good action, good intention, punya. Bad action, bad intention, papa. It will create punya and papa. Now, this punya and papa will come to our life as sukha and dukkha. Why? Because I have performed the action, I have to go through the result of action. So, the punya papa will be stored as punya papa unless it is ready to become sukha or dukkha. Now, who decides when is it ready to become sukha or dukkha? The very action decides when the karma is going to come. When the karma phala is going to come. Means what? The moment I perform the action, it is also decided whether it is a good action or bad action, and therefore whether the punya will come out or papa will come out. And also it will be decided what is the maturity period for this punya papa to become sukha dukkha. Every single action that we perform creates this kind of punya papa with the expiry or with the fructification date. Very simple concept to understand. I have watch in my hand. If I throw the watch up, there is a time that the watch will take to come down. Again fall in my hand. How long will the watch take to fall in my hand depends on how much force I have applied to push it up. As my action, so will be the result of action. So, when performing an action itself, I decide whether it is punya or papa, and I also decide, or the action itself decides, when that punya or papa is going to become sukha or dukkha. Is this point clear? Is this point clear? Now, many births before this birth that we got, we have performed so many actions, so many punyas and papas, each with its own fructification date. The entire collection of all those punya papa together is called as sanchita. So, sanchita karma means collection of results of all the actions of all the past lives together. That's why the word itself says well collected. Means what? It has collected everything. That entire collection is called as sanchita. Now, before I took birth, what happened? From this sanchita, there was a portion whose maturity period had come. There was a portion who was ready to fructify. That portion of sanchita karma is called prarabdha karma. This portion, subset of the overall sanchita karma, separates itself from sanchita. The rest of the sanchita remains. The portion which is ready to fructify separates itself. This prarabdha karma now which is ready to fructify creates for me a suitable subtle body and suitable gross body. What do you mean suitable? According to what is required to go through the punya papa as sukha dukkha which is there in that prarabdha. So if I have a lot of punyas, I will take a body in the higher worlds. If I have a lot of papas, then I will get a body of the lower kind, whether animals or tree or in the lower worlds. And if the papa and punya are almost similar, I will get a human body, human embodiment. When I say human embodiment, understand both the gross body as well as subtle body. Both created by my own prarabdha karma. What is prarabdha karma? That portion of sanchita karma which separates out. Why? Because it is ready to give its result. And that is why we say in the gross body and subtle body, we said that the gross body is made up of the 5 elements in gross form, but is shaped by prarabdha karma. That is why we said also in subtle body, sukshma sharira is made up of tanmatras, but the form and nature of the mind, intellect and the subtle body is according to prarabdha. That is why I look like this and you look like that. Our bodies are made up of same 5 elements, but why am I looking like this and you look like that? Because of my prarabdha and your prarabdha. Why is my mind not sharp and somebody's mind is sharp? Why is my one indriya is not working? I am not able to hear from birth. Why? Because it is shaped by my own prarabdha, my own punya papa. So I am born, not only prarabdha will create subtle body and gross body, but prarabdha will find out the suitable house, the suitable family, the suitable parents, the suitable area, the suitable time that you will be born according to your own prarabdha. Then when we are born, we will start experiencing the sukha dukkha. What is the sukha dukkha? That punya papa which is coming now as prarabdha as sukha dukkha. Now what happens? As we start to live, as we are going through the prarabdha, we start to create more actions and results of actions. So from my birth till now, as I was going through prarabdha, I was also performing new action and therefore creating new results. All that comes under agami karma. Now remember, from my birth till now, I have performed many actions. Some results I have already got. Maybe possible in one exam I studied, I got good marks. Over. Maybe sometimes it must have happened. But there will be some actions or the results of some actions which have not yet come to me. I have performed the action, I have thrown the watch up, but watch is yet to come down. Result will come when? Result will come in future. In future means what? Either in this life, in this embodiment, or in some future life, in some future embodiment. Even that is called as agami karma. And not only the actions of mine from birth till now, but from now till death, I will again be performing some action which will give rise to some results, which again may come in this birth in future or in some other future embodiment. All that also is called as agami karma. How long will this embodiment remain? As long as prarabdha remains. Because of agami, I may change the prarabdha. Because agami karma is what? My free will, no? From my birth till now, I might have changed, created some more results which may affect prarabdha, which may affect the immediate results. So some things may change here and there, but that prarabdha governs the overall thing. When I am going through this prarabdha, I do have free will. Of course, because that's the whole purpose of human birth. In all other births, I don't have free will. There is nothing called as agami karma in other births. There is only sanchita prarabdha. Prarabdha is there, punya papa, you go through punya papa. When that is over, again from sanchita one portion will come out, again we will take birth. In human life, this is a new thing. What? I can perform actions with free will. Real free will, not pseudo free will. No, I can choose to act. I may have lot of papa that is fructifying now and therefore lot of dukkha in my life, but I can decide not to be sad. Gurudev used to put this whole thing in a very, very simple way. He used to say, what we meet in life is prarabdha. How we meet is our purushartha or purusha prayatna. So what we meet is destiny. How we meet is our self-effort. Now, when I am living with this self-effort, I am again generating actions which will give results either here. Why? Because the action itself decides when it is going to give result. So some actions will be there which will give results in this life itself. Probably some have already given also results. But there will be few actions which will not give results here. What will happen to those actions? When I die, those karmas, agami karmas will go back and merge with the sanchita. Again from that sanchita, now a new subset, new prarabdha will be there which is ready to fructify, which will separate out, which will give me my next embodiment. All these three karmas, actions, results of actions connected to jiva. Did you understand? Veji, little bit understood. Let me explain in the terms that you will understand. What is that? You all have bank accounts. You all keep your money there. And there is something which is very interesting called as fixed deposit. Correct? FD. Fixed deposit. What do? We keep some amount of money for a fixed period of time. Fixed money for fixed time is called fixed deposit. I am not commerce person, okay? I am not explaining commerce to you. I am just trying to explain this concept using fixed deposit. There is something called as recurring deposit also, no? Where you keep on changing the amount. You keep on adding to amount. I am not talking about that. Fixed amount for fixed time, we keep it in the bank. Let us say, for example, I have kept 1 lakh rupees in my fixed deposit for 6 years. Now, according to how much is the amount and how much is the period, I may get some, what do you call, interest on it. And that I can decide whether I want it as monthly interest or quarterly or yearly. Keep this interest part out of interest for now. What is the point? I have kept 1 lakh rupees for 6 years. After few days, I keep 1 more lakh, 1 lakh rupee more for 6 months. Okay? After few days, I keep 15 lakh rupees for 3 years. Veji, too many numbers. 1 lakh rupees for 6 years, then 1 lakh rupees for 6 months, then 15 lakh rupees for 3 years. 3 years only I said, no? Clear? Now, after 6 months, what will happen? The total amount is 17 lakhs that I have kept. 1 lakh plus 1 lakh plus 15 lakhs. Correct. Total amount is 17 lakhs. From this 17 lakh rupees, there is 1 lakh rupees which is ready to fructify. Correct? Ready to fructify after 6 months. So what happens? That 1 lakh rupees separates itself from the 17 lakh, and that 1 lakh you can withdraw. As I told you, interest you keep it aside. Now what has happened? In that total FD, now 16 lakhs are remaining. Now 1 lakh has come in your hand. Now what do you do with this 1 lakh? Your choice. You can spend on something and get some object, fridge and AC. Or you can give it to somebody as donation, punya karma. Or you can reinvest it for another period of time. Correct or no? Correct. Now the total FD amount is sanchita. That portion of sanchita which is ready to give result is prarabdha. And what I do with that prarabdha is agami. Suppose I reinvest. I have done agami karma of 1 lakh now more. What will happen? Sanchita will go back to 17. Is this concept understood? Concept understood. Few points you note here. From my birth till my death, I am continuously in connection with prarabdha and creating agami. Creating agami, why? Because I have purushartha, human life we are talking about. But I have no such contact with sanchita. I have no idea what my sanchita is. Remember that suppose in my sanchita there is lot of papa, but the portion that fructified is lot of punya, I may experience joys now. That doesn't mean my sanchita is like that. We have no idea what kind of sanchita we all have. We also have no idea how much sanchita we have. So during my life, I am in control, I am in connection, not control, I am in connection with prarabdha because I am going through the results of prarabdha and I am creating agami. Is this understood? Okay. Now in the next session, we will understand how these three karmas are for that jnani. Now what we have discussed is for everyone. All of us go through this. We have sanchita, prarabdha which is giving result now, and we are creating agami, which we will continue to do till death. And after death what will happen? Whatever is remaining will go back and get added into sanchita. Then again a portion will separate itself, will give us next embodiment, we'll go through that. Again if it is a human embodiment, we will create more agami, we'll add it into sanchita. Don't ask one question. What? When did it start? Don't ask that question. Why? Because it has not started. Remember our original problem. Don't ask me when was that first karma we did and that created the first karma phala. Jiva is anadi. Avidya is anadi. And because Jiva is anadi, karma phala also has to be anadi. Without that, how is Jiva coming? Don't ask when did it start. Ask how will it end. We don't know how the sanchita came about and how much sanchita we have. We have some guessing of what my prarabdha is, but we don't know what exactly my prarabdha is. We don't know what are the agami karmas that we have done so far and we have yet to do. But there is one thing that we know, how these karmas can end. That is what we are going to see in the next session. How that jnani ends all the karmas. Karma nasha for a jīvanmukta. That's the topic. How it started, how much it is, not important. How will it end? But Vegji, it is good, no, more and more money in the fixed deposit. That is an example. Don't catch hold of it and you say, why? Because somehow we have understood that money is good. You see our problem? We think more money means better. Nothing like that. Let that income tax team come to your house. Then you will know more money is bigger problem. Then all the fixed deposit will be in trouble only. Example is meant for communicating something. When it communicates, leave the example. Don't hold on to it. Why? Because in that example, I have not explained punya papa difference. Just concept of sanchita prarabdha agami only. Okay, this is how it works. We do have freedom in human life. Please don't think that my birth till death, everything is according to prarabdha. Yes, it is true, everything is according to prarabdha, but I am creating prarabdha. I am creating prarabdha. Isn't it? We have already seen this. It is not that it is fixed. Prarabdha is not a static entity. Prarabdha is a dynamic entity. Every single moment since my birth, as I am doing the action, I am creating more agami karma which will give result. So I am modifying the prarabdha. The overall structure may be same because the prarabdha is strong and which we always may not be able to change it. But I do have freedom to change it in whichever little way I can. And after repeated efforts, we can even change prarabdha in a huge way also. Why? Because finally prarabdha is also something that we only have created in the past. So we can always modify it in the present. To what extent, how much, that we have to understand in our own capacity. But we do have freedom to change it. Only in human life. All other births are bhoga yonis. Either you enjoy or you suffer. You have no free will to go through anything other than that. Only in human life we have this freedom. What freedom? To choose our actions. To choose whether to create punya or papa. Not just that, but to choose our actions in such a way that we will create neither punya nor papa. To choose the action in such a way that we will realize Brahman, so that the connection with these all karmas will go away once and for all. That freedom is only there in human life. That is why Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya Ji in the beginning, in the third verse said, the most rare things are three. And in that first one is Manushyatvam. Now you understand how rare is this? Why? Because only here we can perform action. In all others, we only have to go through the result of our past actions without saying anything. Here we decide which direction I am going to take. Here we decide whether I am going to take any direction or go beyond directions. That also I can choose here. And that is why human life is rare and important. Okay, this is karma phala. This is what is going to be called as karma. So when karma nasha is there, don't think that he is not going to perform any action. That's not the point. How that jīvanmukta is free from all karmas. That is the topic which will be taken. We will see in the next class. Please re-listen to this session. Some important concepts are there. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.